Thank you so much, Thomas, for that lovely introduction. I hope I can do justice to being as dynamic and engaging as possible. I too would first like to acknowledge the traditional land that we're gathered on here today. That being said, I thought we could take some time now. Thomas has done a great job alongside Michael and Bettina of discussing what the future of public health would look like and why it's so important to engage students and young professionals. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a snippet of what we've been doing at the Canadian level as part of the Canadian Public Health Association. So to start off, I am still an undergraduate student. I'm in my third year in the Bachelor of Health Sciences program, specializing in global health at McMaster University. And the fact that I'm standing in front of you here today talking about engaging students in public health and being elected as the student director of the Canadian Public Health Association is very indicative of the progress that we've made in the past few years of engaging students. I would not have been here had this position not have existed and had the Canadian Public Health Association not been so open and encouraging to my ideas. So once I've gotten that out of the way, I'd like to discuss what we've done. So firstly, we wanted to try to figure out what exactly is the problem. What are the biggest challenges that are facing students and young professionals so that we as an organization can better adapt and meet these necessities. So here you can see a word cloud that was created through NVivo. This is qualitative results that were gathered by surveying the students and early career members of the Canadian Public Health Association about what they thought the biggest challenge to them was. And through this, as you can see, there's a few words that are bigger than the others, highlighting that they were more brought up in the surveys. These are the three that were highlighted as the most important and the biggest challenges that they were facing. Firstly, the lack of opportunities. Secondly, the lack of experience. And thirdly, the lack of job placements. And what we wanted to do as an organization is try to bridge the gap between students and young professionals in public health and these items, because we feel that they are the next generation of public health leaders and we should be equipping them with all the tools necessary. So how have we done that? So first, let's talk about opportunities. So as part of the Canadian Public Health Association, what we have is a Students and Early Careers Committee. It's very similar to the Students and Young Professionals section of the World Federation of Public Health Association, which was established a year ago, but we've been doing this for a while now. What we do in this committee is we get students from all over Canada, sit and discuss what they feel are the biggest issues that are facing students and young professionals. These issues are then voiced back up to the board through the student director position, which I will mention in just a couple of minutes. Secondly, we also just recently established the Student Leadership Committee, and these students are the ones that are in charge of all these wonderful opportunities and experiences I'll be talking about in the next couple of slides. They are the individuals that came up with the idea to start these initiatives, and they are the ones that are running these initiatives. So we're trying to take away the layers of bureaucracy. We're trying to take away the number of senior members trying to organize activities for students and really bringing students at the forefront and giving them these opportunities. So one of an example or one of the opportunities that we have created is an Emerging Professionals blog. This blog is a space for students to voice their opinions about public health issues from a student perspective. We've heard a lot from the leaders in the field at this Congress already, but what we see is a lack of a student perspective at the plenaries, and this is something that came up in discussions earlier on today. We also find that this is an engaging place for students to discuss this with others, gain other perspectives, and this is hopefully where we will find these innovative solutions to the problems as defined by Thomas earlier on. And we also have this really neat thing known as webinar series. This was all started in the last year. And this series really focuses on webinars that are for students, by students, and young professionals that focus on issues regarding career placements, how to get a job, tips and tricks on networking, as well as on how to be a leader in public health. And these opportunities are really imperative just because they're run by students and they're managed by students, which is what we feel is really powerful. Now, how will we adapt it to experiences? What are the different types of experiences that we do offer students that are a part of the Canadian Public Health Association? Firstly, it's my position, the student director position. I have a voice on the board. I sit through all board meetings, I get a package, I'm allowed to raise agenda items, and I'm allowed to talk about issues that will really help frame the strategic action of the Canadian Public Health Association. Now, why is this so powerful? Because as a student, as an undergraduate student who's just learning about public health and forming my worldview, I'm able to bring up issues that I've heard from talking to my peers, talking to other individuals that are public health physicians or epidemiologists to the board. And this is really important because it really empowers youth to focus in on issues that are pertinent to them. And it really helps us bring that lens to what the Canadian Public Health Association is doing. Because little did you know, half of the members of our association are actually students and young professionals. So what better way to engage them and bring them into the dialogue rather than having a position such as the student director? Secondly, we offer, like other public health associations, a lot of policy working groups. These policy working groups are really important because it lets students be at the heart of the public health work. It helps them work on policy statements, position papers, and really gives them a good idea of what it means to be a public health professional. And lastly, we have a representative on the conference steering committee. So this representative is in charge of conferences as such, although they're smaller in number, but they're in charge of making sure that there's student and young professional relevant activities present at conferences as such. Because we feel it's really important to engage them at that level as well, because this conference and Congress thus far has been very important to me as a person in really helping me understand what public health is all about, how complex it is, and what we can do going on from here. And this is something that we feel is also important at the Canadian Public Health Association. Excuse me, sorry, I have a bit of a cold. Now, lastly, moving on to job placements. So how have we engaged students in that sense? Like most public health associations, we definitely do offer practicum placements, and these placements are an excellent opportunity for students, again, to be at the heart of public health work. Really helps them get out into the community. And not only that, these students are very pivotal to all the work that's done by our association, and we make sure that the students know about this. Because if we didn't have these students working on our policy statements as well as position papers, we wouldn't have them because they're really imperative to it. As we now know, that most public health associations are quite understaffed and underfunded, so really drawing upon this volunteering activity is imperative to other public health associations. And lastly, we do offer a mentorship program. This was also recently launched. And through this program, what we've given students is an opportunity to connect with the leaders and really engage with them. And hopefully this can turn into an internship placement or a future job opportunity for them. And we really focus on letting students know that this is a very open environment. We want them to feel that they're equal to the people that they're talking to, and that there is this aspect of reverse mentorship where we've seen that a lot of our mentors actually learn from our mentees. And this is something that's very valuable in engaging and empowering youth. Excuse me. All right, so now just an anecdote from my side. Where do I fit into all of this? As Thomas already mentioned, I was elected in my second year of undergraduate studies when I was still trying to understand what public health is all about. I went to the program director at McMaster University for a Masters of Public Health program, Dr. Fran Scott, and I told her, I'm interested. How can I do more? What can I do more? And she was actually the first person that gave me this opportunity. She was the one that nominated me to be the student director for the Canadian Public Health Association, and just look where that's brought me. Thank you so much, Dr. Scott, I know you're sitting in the audience, and for supporting me thus far. But it's really professionals like her, like Ian Colbert, who's the executive director of this Canadian Public Health Association, who've really made this an encouraging and level playing field for someone like me to bring up my voices and opinions. And I'm hoping that it's worked, because since the past 2 years, we've almost doubled the number of student and young professional members of our Public Health Association. We've hoped to engage them much more than has been in the past, and we really want to send the message to other public health associations that it's imperative that you create a position such as the student director on your board. Let a student or young professional have some say in the strategic plan and action and direction of your Canadian Public Health Association, because we're very ready to work. We hope that we have some valuable ideas, and not only can we contribute to you, but we know that being a part of these associations has done a lot for us and helped us improve. And like I've said, this has been the most valuable and empowering experience in my career, albeit it's very small, just 3 years. But taking these experiences with me is what we as the Canadian Public Health Association believe is the next step forward. So just to conclude, if any of you are from public health associations, represent a public health association, or a student that's a part of a public health association and want to start like a student early career committee, or have a student director position, here are my contact details. Please let us know. We have created a guide that can be used by others to follow. And I really hope that I've done justice and shown you that we do have a great future in empowering and engaging students and young professionals, and I hope that you all do the same. Thank you so much.